You're watching ABC 36 on your side. Good afternoon, Kentucky.
Welcome back. If you're looking for tips on knowing how to smartly garden your plants for the early spring, look no further than Sunshine Grow Shops. And here with us today is Joe Ellis, the co-founder of Sunshine Grow Shops. Welcome to the show, Joe. So happy to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me. It feels really nice to see another spring.
Yes, I know. Even though it was freezing this morning.
Yes, it was.
I mean, hopefully TG is going to bring us some good news so we can get to gardening as soon as possible. So let's talk about, how did Sunshine Grow Shops begin?
Well, I wish I could take credit for it myself, but I was really kind of born into it. My mom and dad started the company, started the Ellis greenhouses back in 1968. Can you believe that? And I was about 6 years old. My dad was kind of the brains behind it. He was a soil scientist with the University of Kentucky. And my mom was the heart and soul. She was just a kind heart. Fast forward to 1983, I met my wife. Best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh, good.
And she helped me right around our little dining room table in our efficiency apartment come up with the name Sunshine Grow Shop. I'd been reading a book about entrepreneurship, and it said probably best not to put your name, your last name in your business in case you ever want to expand or sell. So it turned out that we chose Sunshine Grow Shop, and it was a good decision.
Well, as much as I love the last name Ellis, I do have to agree with you. Sunshine Grow Shops just has a really nice ring to it. So how early in the season can we start gardening?
Well, you know, you can actually start gardening now if you just garden smart. First of all, pick varieties that can handle the cool weather. Most people know pansies and violas can handle cool weather, but there's a lot of other plants out there that can really do well in cool weather. You can take, for example, dianthus. It's a relative of the carnation family, and it does great. Alyssum, it's got a really nice fragrant smell, pretty whites and lavenders and things like that. It can take cold weather real well. Snapdragons, that was the first crop I ever got to sow. I was only about 5 or 6 years old, and I got to sow that little seed and practice snapping.
Snapdragon.
Exactly. They can take cold weather real well. And then you've got also vegetables like cabbage and broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. All of those are really, it's right now is the right time to plant those. Then you've got perennials, a lot of different perennials you can put out. It's just an excellent time to get those started because you don't have the heat that kind of stresses them out. What you want to look for when you're looking for a good plant to buy, you want to look for one that's been acclimated, not one that's straight out of the greenhouse, because even a plant that can handle cold weather, straight out of the greenhouse, if it's not acclimated on a cold night, it can get frost burn and burn the leaves. So get one that's acclimated, check the root ball. You want to make sure that you have a nice, good root ball, because in the spring, especially early spring, as TG would verify, there's a lot of wind. And you want to have a good root structure to be able to absorb the moisture and the fertilizers really well. Add a nice layer of mulch, and then if you really want to be prepared, just have some old blankets that you can throw over things if you want. But really, we can start gardening right now as long as we garden smart.
And it sounds like these plants are just like us humans. Get a blanket when you're cold.
That's exactly right,
I love it.
Jane. Yeah.
Well, I have to ask one last question. What's your favorite flower?
Oh, golly. It depends on the time of year.
Okay.
But I kind of like vinca. Vinca is a no-fuss flower. It takes the heat real well, does not need a lot of water, comes in a trailing form, comes in an upright form, and it's just a great little plant to put in your garden.
That is fantastic.
Unfortunately, it is a little too early for vinca, so stick with those cold hardy plants.
Guys, don't go get vincas yet.
Dianthus, snapdragons, pansies, violas, all those kinds of things.
Well, great. Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us all about your knowledge on these plants. And make sure y'all visit Sunshine Grow Shops, because Joe knows what he's talking about, you guys. Well, we'll have more. Good afternoon.